Okay, so here's a little introduction to the toggle board. This is a little bit difficult to understand at first, and I had the same problem, so hopefully this will help. So I've got a very simple setup here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this to play a sound bubble, right? So first of all, the output of the toggle board is coming here, and what I'm doing here is just to ask if it's a 1, if equals to 1, then we play a sound bubble, right? We have a drum in here, so that's that, but doesn't matter. You can also see the value here, and this is just to illustrate so you can see something going on. So these are toggles. The exact same principle applies to sliders or knob. It's just different values, right? The goal is to get the value at a given position, right? I want to address this position, so like maybe this one here, and ask, what is your value? Are you a 0 or 1? Or of course, if it's a slider, it could be anything, between 0 and 1, or not, same thing. And then give me that value. Give me your value. If you are a 1, play the sound. But that's happening here. That's outside. The toggle board itself doesn't care what happens to the value, it just outputs the value, right? So how do we do this? You don't need any of these here. I've just put them in so you can see how we start to wire things up, right? You could do directly. So in a sense, a bit redundant, but you can see how to start wiring it up. So with this get block here, I set the column. So you can see here in the context help, it says something about columns. That context help in this case is really useless. It suggests that this is a number of columns. It isn't. This sets the column we're currently asking for its value. And the thing to know with this here is that, actually, let me set it that way. 0, 0 means this one. Yeah. This is 0, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Column 0, 1, 2, 3, row 0, 1, 2, 3. So it starts with 0. So 0, 0 is this one. Okay. How do I get the value? So now I'm telling it, so I'm sending that and that. So this is 0, 0. Could have done it directly here, but I'm just illustrating. Now I'm asking for this one, but how do I ask for it? With this button here. That. And I've just, again, wired in an external button so you can see more clearly what I'm doing. Hit that button and you can see it light up, and there's a 1. So if I set this to 0, 0. Okay, that's that. So if I set the column to 1, trigger it, we should be asking for this one now, right? And that's exactly what happens. Yeah, see? And likewise, if I want to get, let's say this one, I want to get this one, what is it? Column 0, 1. Okay, column 1, good. Row 0, 1, 2. Yeah, okay, 2. Send that, right? Now ask for the value, see it light up, that's it. This is basically how Toggleboard works. There's a really important thing, gotcha with this, which is you need to make sure that you have set the coordinates of the toggle you're asking before you hit that, before you ask for the value. And that can be quite tricky when you wire things up. So I'm going to show you now how that can look. So, in this case, it's easy because I'm doing it manually. But here, I've got the same setup. I've got, my toggle board here with an output. If else, if it's 1, then play a sound. And there it is, the same thing there. But now here looks a little bit more complicated. So let me show you what that does. I've turned this into a sequencer, basically. So I have a rhythm block that fires on every beat. You can see it here, firing. This is just a gate. It's currently switched to off position. When I switch it on, it sends a signal on every beat. And the signal triggers a 1 from this get block, sends it into a counter, which counts, adds another 1 to the count. Here's the total count. Yeah, you can see adding 1, 1, 1, 1. I don't care about this exact number here. What I care about is divided by 4, modulo 4, and that gives you a value between 0 and 3. Yeah, divided by 4. So modulo, I don't know if you're familiar with it. Modulo means divide by this and give me the remains of that, right? So if you have number the 1, for example, 1 divided by 4, well, you can't divide it by 4, so that's 0, and the remains is 1. 2 is 2, 3 3, and so on. 4, 0. Yeah, 4 divided by 4 is 1, no remains. So that's how you go from this count to something between 0 and 3. Yeah, if you're not familiar with this takes a little bit of getting used to, but that's one way. It's only one way. You can also do different things. You can implement your own counter in many different ways, by the way. This is one way of doing it. I think this is one with the least amount of blocks, but, you know, different ways of doing it. The end result has to be that we go from 0 to 3, yeah? 0, 1, 2, 3. You can see here, column 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. How do we go across the board with rows? Well, you can see here it goes one row, 0, 1, 2, 3. Next row, 0, 1, 2, 3. Yeah? How does it do that? With an if-else. If the result of this is 0, yeah? You see? If equals 0, it means we are actually starting a new row, right? We're starting from first column again, which means a new row. So we do the same thing, another counter, another modulo, modulo 4 again, because it's a 4 by 4 square. If it was 5 rows, it would need to be a 5 here, right? And that advances the row when we are back to column 0, okay? You can see here how the rows advance. Yeah. Now there's a very important thing, and this is what I illustrated earlier with the button. You know, I set the column and the row, and then I triggered this knob here, yeah, to get the actual value. You have to do the same thing here. How do you do it? With the order of the wiring. Not sure. Let's take this away because it's just going to be in the way. Hope you can see it. This wire, there's 3 wires coming out of the modulo. This is number 1. That sets the columns. That goes first. The second one is this one here. This is important. So that one then triggers, if needed, the next row, right? So this sets the row, if we actually need to change the row. Yeah, you can see. No, we don't. Now we change the row. Now we change the row again. Set the column, set the row. And number 3, the third cable, it doesn't care about the value. It doesn't care about whether it's a 0, 1, or 2, or 3, or whatever. It just needs a jolt, and that's plugged into this. Get me the output, right? So first column. That doesn't matter. It could be first the row and then the column. That doesn't matter. But first, row and column need to be set, and then trigger the output. That's important. This is something that can easily go wrong, and I've certainly had that problem. There's also, you could use an order block to make it more obvious, but the jolts are labeled with numbers, so yeah, hopefully it'll work that way. But if it doesn't work properly, that's the first thing to check. Are you doing the right order? Are you setting the coordinates and then triggering? And that's basically it. And I'm just as a little bonus, I can show you how you can turn this into something more complicated very easily now by just doing the same thing, taking the columns and the rows, and then see the order. This one last, right? Now I have a slider board also attached here, and it addresses the same positions. And it gets a value between 0 and 1, which I use to control the volume. Hear that? Yeah, so that's very quiet. Yeah, so I can control the volume. Obviously, this one, yeah, this is not even playing. Yeah, so yeah, of course I could have combined that. I could just say, I could have the logic here to say, to just use this one. If it's 0, don't start the bubble in the first place, and otherwise start the bubble and set the volume. Yeah, but that's just to show how you can easily combine that and make this into a much more complex thing. Okay, so this is published as well as Toggleboard example. It's public. So hope this helps. Bye.